Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Our heroes found the necromancer they were looking for. Butthole was confused about how the sun and moon worked. Juniper wanted to make sure the local trolls were evil before killing them. And Quinny took the first watch over their camp before being sucked into Baba Yaga's house. What will happen if our heroes manage to reach the Bastion of Failure? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Quinny, you find yourself in the chicken house of Baba Yaga. You're face down on the floor amidst the wood shavings, various sort of wispy tumbleweeds of dirt and dust, some old browned leaves, and beneath it, a floor that perhaps once had polish, but now has been worn bare almost to the color of freshly chopped wood beneath it all. Before you is a table that's been laid out for a feast. Reginald is sitting at it, his eyes closed, seemingly in slumber. And Baba Yaga sits at the head of the table.
Quinny will kind of groan from the pain of unexpectedly face planting, given that he was just recently on night watch and then tumbled into Baba Yaga's hut. Quickly, like crack his back as he gets up and say, evening there, Baba Yaga.
Quinny, so glad you could join us. Since you're here, I guess it's time to wake up dear sweet Reginald.
How long have you been here, Reginald?
Yeah, Reginald, you jerk awake to find yourself not in the bundle of furs that you'd curled up into sleep, but instead in Baba Yaga's house with her flying, chattering teeth clicking next to your ear to wake you up.
A table. Quinny. Baba Yaga.
The teeth fly just sloop back into her mouth, and she grins broadly at you and says, "They're behaving much better these days, as you can see. Well, welcome back, you two. How are my favorite Freaky Friday pals?"
Fine. What is it?
If someone, per se, I don't know, not me, but if someone got scared and peed their pants, do you have like a bathroom or something where they could clean up?
She laughs and says, "Oh dear, the amount of people who have pissed themselves in terror in this house. It's too much today. But don't worry, some of my enchantments will deal with it.
What do you think
you can use that napkin if you would like."
Oh,
yes,
wait,
he gets it about the sawdust. It's not just to give it kind of a cool sports bar atmosphere, although I have been trying that out a little bit. Go Junior Jays. Ha ha!
Reginald leans toward Quinny and he's like, "You should try it out. It's dry and gone already."
What can I say? I like to be accommodating.
I'll do that, buddy. You got it. I assume we're here for what? Some kind of debrief on the assassination of your son?
Yes. It's a wake of a sort. Sorry, Ron, what were you going to say?
Oh no, I was going to say I assume that now she's going to reveal how this contract's really screwing us.
She says, "Oh, you're such a cynic. Honestly, everyone assumes when you deal with a timeless witch who exists beyond the folds of the imagination that I'm always out to screw you. And I understand that my sister Baba Yaga may have helped add to that particular idea or image. But please, we're here to celebrate. It's a party after all. Now, who would like some champagne? I have warm and boiling."
Look, I really can't stay, Baba Yaga. You called me in here during my shift on night watch. I see you just waited for Reginald to fall asleep. I don't know why I couldn't get the same courtesy, but I really got to get going. I got night watch.
Yeah, please. Time doesn't exactly work the same way in here.
Oh,
you'll come right back out where I left you, admittedly probably a little more horizontal than you intended, but that will be fine. Your friends are okay for the moment. Besides, the true dangers await you in the castle, not out in the woods.
Oh, so there is a castle.
There is, and it's full of nightmares. You're going to have such a wonderful time. I must admit, I'm somewhat jealous.
Now, bit of a good news, bad news kind of bag there, but okay.
I just want to go back to where someone mentioned champagne, so I'll just take the warm, thank you.
All right. And she claps her hands, and there's kind of a rustling, and someone comes out wearing sort of like what you would recognize as the sort of imperial like servant garments of Waterdeep, not imperial, but like the sort of like a very fancy sort of like courtly outfit. And he's got like big rings under his eyes. He has what would have at one point been a very fancy mustache that's now very droopy. And it's that kind of like cornflower yellow that just always, when it isn't like in pure sunlight, looks really kind of pale and sickly. And he just comes out holding wearing like big, like heavy mitts, carrying a steaming urn of liquid, and he just says, "For the gentleman at the table," and he pours it into a champagne flute that is very clearly made of like a couple of like skeletal hands clutching a goblet. And he pours it in. It steams as it hits the air, and just kind of sits there bubbling. And then he looks to you, Quinny.
Not thirsty.
Very good, sir. And he just kind of turns on his heel and starts to walk out. And Baba Yaga just like watches him go with like a grin on her face. And she just says, "You know, it's always fun when the high and mighty take my deals. Sometimes you just get the most wonderful servants out of it. This man used to own half of Faerun." Very good. Well, welcome. Okay, well, please. A toast then to the death of my son and the reclamation of a good deal of my power. She raises the glass to the both of you.
I mean, to the death of your son and that other half I wasn't aware of.
And, yeah, and Quinny will just kind of like cordially gesture without a cup, just like, and to you.
Oh, shucks. You make me blush. She takes a sip. Reginald, do you actually sip your
Oh, yeah, champagne? Reginald's going to drink it.
Great. It's got that iron taste of blood that you're so familiar with from getting hurt and from adrenaline. That said, it's like a golden liquid, so you're not entirely sure why. Honestly, it kind of tastes like home.
Like blood, but confusing.
Yes,
Scary.
It's my favorite vintage. In any case, boys, you have performed admirably, and let it never be said that Baba Yaga doesn't honor her contracts. Now, as Reginald indicated, often those contracts have slightly more complicated clauses in them that sometimes lead people like old Duke Kieran Bashkara over there of Waterdeep to end up in service to me in perpetuity. But sometimes it just gives you the powers you need to accomplish the missions I need you to do. And in this case, my dear friends, that's exactly what you've done. Now, Quinny, I, of course, have some collateral from you. And she, like, picks up her bag of eyes and, like, slaps it down on the table and starts, like, rooting through it like a purse where she's trying to find, like, you know, a pen that she's sure is in there.
Quinny's flinching at every, like, harsh or, like, grand movement as she's squelching around for eyeballs. Like, no, please, careful. No, I don't want to look at this.
Yeah, that's fine. You can close your eyes. Well, except the one that doesn't have a lid right now. And then finally,
that was a good joke.
She finds it. She holds it up and says, "I believe this one is yours." And she like has to dust some lint off of it.
Why do I feel that? I know I shouldn't feel that, but I feel that.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry, dearie. Sometimes I lose mints in there, and I gotta tell you, that hurts like a real bitch. In any case, you've performed admirably. Not only did you destroy my son, you and your team, your dum-dums, have managed to stall the Great Collide. It never occurred to me that the restoration of gods to their appropriate realms would slow the course of, galactic and dimensional degradation, but it turns out it did, which is wonderful. You've bought us all a bit of breathing space before the end, which I must say, as one who has existed for a time that is hard to conceive by mortals, having a little bit more time is actually a surprisingly necessary thing. I'm not too fond of the concept of death, as you know from your adventure with Queen Doddalia some time ago, and you have managed to give me a bit more life, and that is a boon I will not forget. That said, the collide is still coming. It is stalled and not stopped, but I've come to realize that, strangely and unpredictably, you and your friends are perhaps the best chance any of us have of surviving all of this, which means I am inclined not to revoke my gifts. Quinny, you may notice that you still have your dark powers, and Reginald, I assume you've been staying as far from the front as you can, so you may not have noticed whether your sword works or not, but I've chosen to allow you both free reign for the time being. Which brings us to the purpose of our little to-do. First, of course, wanted to toast the death of my shithead son. And second, I wanted to discuss our new arrangement. She kind of closes her fist around the eye.
This is what I knew was coming. This is what always comes.
Now,
Big Spooky wants to team up, then a trick.
Now, as you've seen from old Duke Bashkara over there, a lot of my contracts end in, perpetual servitude, turn the high and mighty into the lowly and servile. It's very fun for me. But in this case, again, based on what you've done so far and how capable you have inexplicably proven yourselves, it seems to me that a contractual arrangement, the likes of which we previously had, of employer-employee, is not exactly the right call here. I would instead propose a partnership. You see, with the loss of the Hourglass of Eternity, my options are somewhat limited, and as I've said, you are my best chance now. And thus, I would like to essentially work with you to prevent the Great Collide, after which we may go our separate ways. But I'm noticing that between that and the infantile Captain Plant here running around, there are a few too many free radical forces at work here that I can't fully control, which really pisses me off. So I offer you this. We enter into a partnership. I continue to give you my boons. Quinny, you can continue to use the powers of darkness as you see fit. I keep your eye as collateral. You keep the eye of true sight, which I believe has some utility to you. Unless you would like your eye back, in which case I'm happy to take some other form of collateral, depending on what you're into. And in return, I offer you this. And she just kind of like smirks at you and cracks a tooth out of her mouth. And you hear the teeth chatter and be like, ow, fuck! And she just says, now, inserting this will be rather unpleasant, I should warn you. I'm afraid I don't work with soft magic, but this is what's known as a sending tooth. It means that you may call on me for assistance, guidance, additional information over the course of your travels, and as best I am able, I will help. Now, as you can probably tell, a lot of my hands are tied in the affairs of mortals. I often have to work through agents and third parties, but I'll do my best to help however I can. In return, you will assist your Juniper in stopping the Great Collide and in dispatching the other threats to the very fabric of our reality. Mechanically, Tyler, if you accept this deal, once per adventure, you can summon Baba Yaga's assistance or guidance, which can essentially be considered asking the DM a question, or if you need something very specific, you can basically like call Baba Yaga and say you need it, and then she will attempt to get it to you as best she can. There's no guarantee with certain things, but she does have agents and indentured folks sort of throughout the realm. Okay.
Is this being offered to both Reginald and myself?
No, this is a Quinny deal. Reginald's got a different deal. So if you want to wait to hear that, then
since you summoned us both here, I'd like to wait to hear what you're offering Reginald as well.
I mean, I think if you're going to jam a tooth into somebody's mouth, it should probably be Quinny.
Well, yes, I agree. I'm not offering you a tooth. Reginald.
Okay, I'll marry you.
That's adorable. Listen, last time I went down that path, I ended up with the one of many faces as a son. So let's not do that anymore. I'm just doing my own thing. It's how Baba Yaga got her groove back. I like being a free agent, keeps my options open, and then she just runs like a sandpapery tongue over her cracked lips in an incredibly lascivious way that makes both of you very uncomfortable. Says, now, Reginald, I have gifted you a weapon that was generally out of use, given that the version of you that previously used it is dead. Originally, I just assumed to use you as a tool, a bit of a cat's paw, as it were, to deal with my son problem in case Quinny fucked it up. But you've proven yourself to be rather useful, and as I understand from your current situation, you are now to be Mr. Farch's Master of Spies. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what they told me yesterday.
Wonderful. Well, as you know, I am a woman who likes to have sources of information, and honestly, the sword is less a power that I've granted you and more just a cool artifact I dug out of the ground and returned to you. So I tell you what, you can keep the sword, but in return, you will feed me appropriate secrets when and where I ask for them. You can, of course, leave your friends out of it, but about the realms you visit and the various places you go, after all, there are many more Duke Bashkaras out there, and I would truly like to collect them all. I also could use some information about your grim dark Faerun. It seems like a place that perhaps a mad witch could thrive. In exchange for this, you may keep the sword of your departed Reginald and continue to throw and explode it.
Okay, so you want to know about the Horde world? That's fine. Yeah, I'll give you all that crap. Every kind of little Duke dickhead, sure. I mean, I don't give a crap about them. I might get orders to not share things with you from Butthole, and I feel like you're going to kind of want everything, but he's going to want me to not give you stuff, and I am, at this point, terrified of you, but also terrified of him because he's become the avatar of a goddess.
Yes. Unfortunately, he has ascended to a rank where it is somewhat harder for me to fuck with him. So I'll tell you what, Reginald, you are at heart a coward. You understand the dangers of this world. You just point me towards all the little loose ends that you think a witch like me could perhaps wrap up. You can leave out information about your friends and your worthwhile objectives and your quest to save the world or what have you. I just want to know about the assholes you find along the way, the susceptible, the potential future threats that could perhaps be taken off the board, that could perhaps serve me better.
Oh, yeah, deal. Yeah, let's do that. That's great. Okay, cool. I get all of this, and I don't have to put anything in my mouth? Amazing.
Yes, well, honestly, the tooth is pretty cool. I'm a little bummed you don't think so, but that's fine. I understand you. You do have impeccably good teeth. I will give the Horde that. They have excellent dental work. Probably because of all the tusks and fangs involved. So she turns to Quinny and says, so one of the two of you has agreed. What say you, Mr. Brown Barrow?
Got a couple addendums to make to this agreement, if you're up for that.
You see, I knew it was dangerous to let you into the law library of hell, but okay, fine. Let's put your degree to good use.
Nothing in my mouth, okay? I'll hold your tooth. All right?
I mean, okay, it's much more losable that way. If you put it in your mouth, it's always just there in case you need it. Admittedly, sometimes my teeth get away, but you just have enchanted tooth, not teeth, so you'll be fine.
I mean, what if he puts it in his eye socket with that gold eye?
Well, I mean, how's he supposed to speak then? I mean, I'm just going to hear as his eye rolls around. That's not useful to me at all.
I will keep the tooth on my person somewhere. Maybe, right here and now. Could you fashion me a little necklace that the tooth hangs from or something?
What if we make it a tongue piercing so that it could go through his tongue, but then still be there in his mouth?
Oh, I don't want to hear all the squelching noises as he drinks beverages and things. That's gross.
You'd hear that if it was just a tooth, though.
Oh, that's
not
true.
Helping new best friend, new Freaky Friday.
Oh, good. I'm glad that all worked out. I got to tell you, Reunities hasn't been the same since you guys left. Honestly, we installed a karaoke machine, but really it's just the vibe isn't the same. Little bummed. All right, well, I can't do that. But and then she just kind of reaches into her shirt and pulls out a black bone tube. She screws off the top and slides out a scroll, and then she just unfurls it. And similar to the game Portal, it just kind of hits a wall and disappears, and then kind of comes through the other wall and just starts snaking back and forth. And she just starts rapidly sort of flipping through it at speed. She says, yes, I do in fact have a jeweler. Yes, I will have them fashion it for you, and you'll find it in your pocket tomorrow.
That works.
Excellent. Honestly, they've been good in my service, but I think this one final act will be worthwhile. It will end their servitude, delete them from existence. They get a win, you get a win, everyone's fine.
Okay, so now we need to talk about that. Assuming we pull this gargantuan task off and prevent a multi-dimensional cataclysm, am I just going to cease to exist after that? Because Baba Yaga's back, baby.
I gave this guy a lot of power to like conquer and subjugate some nations. He did it. He was a complete tyrant asshole. The condition was that when he died, he had to come serve me for 100 years. And I've just been eking that out by making him do little things here and there. Honestly, he's a real piece of shit. You should be glad to see him go. He's also an incredible jeweler, though. Honestly, everyone forgets that evil people have like hidden talents. You know, it's not that we should forgive the evil, but like, you know, it's worth. I mean, look, he made this tube, and it's just like this horrific, like bone scarred, like blasted, pocked bone thing. Isn't it fancy?
It sure is.
For a thief, you're a terrible liar, Quinny.
Well, I'm only half trying right now.
I understand. Half your ranks
you're
are
up in here anyway
these days. You got me. Oh, that's another thing. With the end of our contract, part of the reason I offer you the tooth is I will no longer invade your head. I feel like that's unfair between partners. It's really more of a boss employee situation. But you know, you're not on the clock anymore. So
that's another thing I was going to talk about. Is I think Reginald and myself have proven that we're most effective when we're not being managed. So I was hoping that could be part of the discussions as well. But it's good to hear that you're on the same page with that.
Yes, no, in this case, we will be, well, not equals, you know, because I kind of exist beyond space and time in a way you can't possibly conceive of. But we will be partners. I will assist you as I can and as pleases me. And you will help stop the thing that I cannot directly affect. But no, this is a much different relationship. You will no longer be serving me. You will be serving with me, if that makes any sense.
All right. So if I'm choosing somebody who's like kind of sucks that you can eat or whatever, do I just like make finger guns at him and then somehow that'll mean, bam, they've got the magic Baba Yaga juice on them?
She smiles and hands you a small leather-bound book with a pen that seems to be made of the same sort of bone energy. She says, merely write their name in blood in this book, and I will make sure to find them.
Oh, this seems a lot more dignified. Thanks. He'll put that in his bag of holding.
It's some kind of death note. Here you go. She says, I mean, you can still do the finger gun thing if it pleases you. I have no way of seeing it unless Quinny's looking directly at it. Yeah.
All right.
So,
Baba Yaga.
Oh, yeah. I think he opens up the book and just immediately writes down the fries. Just because he knows they're after the party.
Yeah, and she kind of like tilts her head. She goes, "Oh, nice try. That's very cute. No, dispatch them, and I will have use for them. Some I can reach out and grab directly. Others are too powerful or too cunning. Otherwise, I would just truly control your entire world. But yes, if you dispatch them, trust me, I will put them all to good use." And she kind of like immediately, like her eyes dart to a chair across the room, and the camera zooms in, and it's like distinctly missing a footstool. She's like, yes, somewhere to rest my tootsies. The last one died. It was quite disappointing. But made a great champagne.
Ooh, I'm really glad I didn't drink that.
Reginald just takes another sip. This is just, he's committed at this point.
So what, last time you took an eye, what are we doing this time as partners? Are we going to shake or something?
She said she was keeping the eye.
Yeah, I'm keeping the eye.
So this is a new agreement. How do we seal this deal?
I think you got a kiss.
And she's like, honestly, you know, I know that Mr. Farch is a genetically engineered whatever, but it would seem that the kissing runs in their family. They seem to be really into that.
Baba Yaga, the Farches are so goddamn horny. It gets into everything.
Yes, that is a concern. All right,
Tinglers, the Farches.
I tell you what, there is an unbreakable ritual that is spoken of in the darkest corners of the universe. One so evil and soul binding that good men and women fear it. I, of course, mean the pinky swear. Then she extends her pinky out to you.
Yeah, and Quinny will reciprocate in kind, and the pinkies interlock And what happens? Does anything happen, or is it just like little?
Yeah, it's like and nothing happens, and then suddenly there's like a resounding boom, and like the walls shake, the curtains flutter, dark energies twist up and down your arms. You hear an eternal scream from beyond space and time, and she says, "Pinky sworn." And then she turns to you, Reginald, and says, "I mean, we can do the kissing thing if you really want, but."
I feel like I've got the book, so we're good. But we can do something else if you need to.
Fair enough. No, that's cool. That's cool. Great. Well, you guys want to I don't know, play some cards or something? I've got Parcheesi.
Again, I'm on night watch, Baba Yaga. I got.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm sorry. No, of course. We should probably call it here. We've had a good visit.
I mean, I'll roll some bones with you though. If you send him out.
Oh, okay, wonderful. All right, so we'll roll some bones. It's going to be really fun, Quinny. Yeah. You're going to be so bummed. I'm going to keep your eye right here so you can see how much fun it is.
Thanks. Great. I'm going to be keeping the eyes that I have in my skull, the real and artificial one, kind of on the icy wilderness that is trying to kill me and my friends.
Oh, Quinny, do you want to stake me for this game? I could probably bet, I don't know, your soul or something if you're willing to just loan it. I'm good. I'm proficient with dice.
How about you guys just stick to coins?
Okay, do you have any coins?
Reginald, you fucking yes, and I'll throw him 20 coins.
Oh, big spender.
Hey, this gold. Is actually
20 gold.
9/10 of what he has, because I gave all the rest to some gnomes.
It'll happen. Well, this has been lovely. Once again, Quinny, I cannot thank you enough for cleaning up my mess of many faces. I do hope you feel somewhat better being out from under his accursed thumb.
I look forward to feeling that way. It's a little fresh still.
Oh, I understand. Well, in any case, enjoy the new powers I have granted you. You may have noticed your eldritch blasts can explode now and force people to the ground. I just gave you a little extra top up there, some kind of level up, if it were.
I did notice that.
Yes, yeah. Just good boys deserve treats, and she just taps you on the head, just very very belittlingly, and then she says, "Run along, then," and she does that little scoot thing and taps you in the forehead, and you fall backward, taking the Nestle plunge. And the last thing you hear is the clatter of dice on the table. Ryan, roll, I guess we'll say a dex or a sleight of hand for Reginald. Take one of the two.
Should I add my proficiency because I am proficient with dice?
Nice.
Yep. Oh, dope. That's a 22.
You hear a clatter of dice and Baba Yaga say, "Oh, damn, you are good at dice. Oh, it's a shame you weren't betting Quinny's soul. I would have given him an extra life." And with that, you fall backward through the floor and crash through a few branches of a tree before just plowing into the snowbank at the foot of it. At which point, Butthole, who's been woken up by the clatter, kind of sleepily sits up and says,
"It's my turn."
No, you got a little bit more time still.
Okay, bye.
And as Butthole closes his eyes, Quinny, you very cautiously put a hand against the tree to make sure it's solid this time. Lean against it, and a small smile comes unbidden to your face, because for the first time in a long time, you are finally free.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons logo is by Decapitated Markers at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, are, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. Christian Menicola, the Half-Blind Prophet. Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby. One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield. Lord Abradovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Anna Zed, Eric Williams, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Acrix, Cameron Ezel, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Austin Nut Powers Fry, Stabby Stranger, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.